things, sense organs are outward bound. And everything that happens in our experience happens within us. This is the fundamental predicament that this culture solved, how to turn inward, how to take charge of the seat of your experience, so that your experience on this planet is not determined by what's happening around you, but by you, because what's happening within you is the only thing that you can experience. You cannot experience what's happening outside of you. So if you take charge of what's happening within you, you will determine the quality and the nature of your experience. But what you can do and cannot do in the world is a question of time. Which time are we? Which time of history are we? Accordingly we will do certain things. What we do today in the world is not entirely ours, it is a consequence of time. But how we experience this life is entirely ours. But right now, in pursuit of happiness, we are ripping the planet apart. I want you to understand, all these ecological disasters we are talking about are not happening for any other reason. It's human pursuit of happiness. After ripping off half the planet, we are still not happy. If we rip it entirely also, we will not be, because that is not how it happens. Human experience happens from within. What happens from within you, if you do not take charge of the seat of your experience, it cannot happen the way you want it. But we have been going around with belief systems. You know, I was speaking to a group of people in Nashville, Tennessee. Tennessee is a special kind of place. For those of you who do not know, it's a very staunchly religious area, but our center is there. So I was speaking to a group of people and I was telling them a joke. In the joke, I referred to God as Him. Immediately a few ladies stood up and said, "Do you believe God is a man?" Whoa, whoa, whoa. I know what I've gotten into. I said, "I was only telling you a joke." They said, "No, no, you said Him. So do you believe God is a man?" Now in that country, there is a debate whether God is a man or a woman. I think they're going to settle it in this election. There are, you heard of Idi Amin, the Uganda man. Idi Amin declared, God is black. I agree with him. Because if a white man can have a white God, why can't a black man have a black God? This is also a big debate in southern churches in America. Is God white or black? Last two elections they tried to settle it, it didn't settle. This is going on. These people do not know because, God did not land in their lands. Only sons and messengers went there. In India, we know God is brown. Because God came here Himself 9 times, not once, 9 avatars, 9 times He landed here Himself. So Indians are very proud of this. So I keep reminding them, God came here 9 times Himself because He wouldn't trust anybody with Indians. He wanted to do the job hands-on Himself because He couldn't trust His son, messenger, anybody with Indian people. He came 9 times and He failed. 9 or 10 times we can debate, but we can't debate the failure. So this is a land which has never had a concretized idea of God. Anybody… Actually you can make up your own God, this is called Ishta Devata. You don't like any of the existing gods, you can make up your own thing and worship. Because we understand this is only a way of unhindered ability to relate to something. You can make your father into God, you can make your mother into God, you can make your wife or husband into God, or you can make the tree in your garden into God, just about anything. Or you can create your own thing. Because this land gave this freedom because this is a land of seekers. A seeker means the fundamental quality of a seeker is he has realized that he does not know. He understands the immensity of I do not know, because only and only when you see I do not know, the possibility of knowing arises in your life. Whatever you do not know, you believe. We can make you believe just about anything if you work hard enough on you. Everybody should know this. If we work hard enough on you from your childhood, we can make you believe just about anything. This happened. You okay for a joke? It's getting very serious. This happened in New York City. An 8-year-old boy came home from school. He had a very progressive mother. And when she's so progressive, obviously she's single. And he came home and asked, "Mama, is God a man or a woman?" She thought about various political correctness of this, whichever way you say it, what's the problem? She looked at all those possibilities and she said both. Then the boy went into deep thought. After a few minutes he came back and he asked, "Mama, is God white or black?" She again thought about all the racial issues in the country and then she said both. Then he went into very deep thought, then he came back and he asked, "Mama, is God straight or gay?" Again she thought about it a lot and then she said both. Then the boy jumped in joy, I got it, it's Michael Jackson." Right from our childhood, somebody has to work on it. If they work on it, they can make people believe whatever. If you're looking for solace, you believe something because it'll give you psychological solace. But if you're looking for an ultimate solution with this life, then you have to become a seeker. You have to first admit, I do not know. If you see I do not know, then seeking is a natural consequence of this intelligence. There is no way any human being cannot be a seeker of truth if they are not messed up with all kinds of belief systems. If you leave human intelligence untouched, naturally they will seek, there is no other way. Is it not natural if nobody told you what is the nature of the universe, what it is, where you came from, where you did not, where you will go, if nobody told you anything, is it not natural for your intelligence to think, where did I come from, where do I go, what is the nature of my existence? It is very natural for every human being to be a seeker. It is just that we have spoiled this with all kinds of belief systems. Now, all the fight in the world, people try to represent it as good versus evil. No, it is only about one man's belief versus another man's belief. The moment you believe this is it, you're bound to fight with somebody who believes something else. It is time, because for the first time human intellect is sparking like this, it is time that every human aspect, every problem that a human being has, either within or around himself, is addressed through our intelligence, because this is one thing that has not been propagated in the world. In different parts of the world, people are going about propagating this. God is love, God is compassion, God is this, God is that. See, these are all human qualities. Our center is in rural Tennessee and there's a small little town. And I'm walking in this town and I'm the darkest shade in that town. Anything darker than this won't last, even today, okay? So I'm walking, a huge man comes, stands right up here, 6 inches away from me. He's over 6 feet tall and big. I look up at him like this. He looks down on me and says, "God loves us." I said, "The way you're made, only God can love you." He has to love the mistakes that he's made, that's his problem. See, to be peaceful, to be loving, to be blissful, to be compassionate, these are human qualities. They need not be exported to heaven. Yes or no? Human beings are capable of these things or not? Every human being, if he allows it within himself or herself, every human being is capable of peacefulness, joyfulness, being loving, being kind, being compassionate. For this, you don't have to seek it from heaven. Today, even the so-called spiritual leaders are going about saying peace is the ultimate goal of life. Peace of mind is the ultimate goal of life. Such people will only rest in peace, believe me. This happened, I was to speak at Tel Aviv. I'm flying in from Atlanta. I'm to land there mid-morning and speak in the evening. But because of delays, I land there at 6 in the evening. 6:30 I'm to speak. So I quickly change in the airport and rush. Because in these 33 years I have not been late to a single appointment in my life. I don't want to change that now, so I rush to the place. And I'm traveling on American Airlines, so obviously there is nothing edible on the plane. And I get there, and to my joy I see the venue is a nice restaurant. That can't get better. So I walk in and people are already coming in and they're greeting me, and one man comes and says, "Shalom." I ask him, "What does it mean?" He said, "This is the highest way of greeting." I said, "That's your opinion. What does it actually mean?" He said, "No, this is the highest way of greeting." "All right, but what does the word mean?" "It means peace." I said, "Why would peace be the highest way of greeting unless you're born in Middle East?" In South India, somebody comes up to me in the morning and says, "Peace." I'll say, "What's wrong with you?" I'm saying whatever you deprive yourself of will rise to heaven. If you've not eaten for 5 days, food means heaven. So, we've been playing with human psyche like this. I'm not against these things because this is a very inexpensive psychiatry. Psychiatrists are too expensive and they take a lot of furniture. This is inexpensive psychiatry, it's fine, but it is time. It is time that human beings have the necessary tools to create well-being within themselves. They don't have to look to an organization or a religious head or a spiritual head or a guru or a god, but human beings have the necessary tools to create their inner well-being. This is very important. This is the need of today, because for the first time, we have become like superhuman beings. What 10,000 men could not do, one man can do today. 1,000 years ago, what 10,000 men could not do, a single man can do it today with the aid of science and technology. When we have such enormous power, it's very important how we move around here. See, if there is an ant, it can go all over the place. If there's an elephant, you'd better walk carefully, isn't it? Because every step causes damage. Right now we have become like this. Our footprint is huge as human beings. Now, how we tread upon this planet, how we tread upon each other is extremely important. If this has to happen, the most important thing is we have to transform humanity from belief systems to this much sincerity within themselves. What I know, I know. What I do not know, I do not know. This much sincerity comes in every human being, that we will not go about talking about things which are not in our experience. Just because it's written somewhere or said by somebody, it doesn't matter who said it. At least we can say, "I do not know." Maybe Krishna knew, but I do not know. What's the problem? I'm asking, what's the problem? What is the problem for the human being to come to this basic level of sincerity? What I know, I know. What I do not know, I do not know. Once you see I do not know, the nature of this intelligence is such it cannot keep quiet. It has to seek, it has to know. There is no other way for this. This is something that needs to happen, and this is the significance of this culture. This is the significance of this civilization. This is the only reason why it has lasted. Nobody knew what to hit. When the invaders came, they knew they had to break this society somehow. But they did not know where to hit and what to hit, because they did not know where it is. It was not in one leadership, because it is just individual seeking. because this is just an expression of human intelligence. Seeking is not a teaching, seeking is not a philosophy. Seeking is a natural expression of human intelligence. And this is what needs to happen to the world. Thank you very much.
I now request Shri Suresh Prabhuji to come on the stage for remarks by Chair.
The politicians globally are called upon to perform many difficult tasks. And therefore I think they are known as politicians. But I don't think there is a task could be more difficult than this, to speak after such a great discourse by Gurudev, and just before that, a very good manifestation about the ideas how Kingdom of Bhutan is trying to march towards the quest of happiness. So I think this has been a perfect setting for something which is going to be unveiled in the next 3 days. This is the second edition of Ideas Conclave, in which we thought initially that probably what moves the humanity is an idea. And therefore, if you can actually bring different people together to know what we don't know and to share what we know, this could be an idea which could foster the development of humanity over a period of time. I know today we are in the midst of a crisis. We just had a very terrific incident in Paris. And I think we really need to find out not how to create more conflicts, but how to avoid them. And therefore, as you said, the Prime Minister said, we must learn from each civilization. And in a way, we should how to avoid a conflict of civilization. I think that is something which we really need to learn. And for that, we need different forums. And I think this is one forum in which probably we could create an idea which will bring civilizations together, which will bring people together, which will bring minds together. At the beginning could be, how do we start this process of sharing our ideas with each other, to know each other better, and to bring each other closer. So I think this is the basic theme of this conference. I'm very happy that all of you are here, and I agree with many of you feeling that the conference in Goa, for the most difficult task is to be inside the hotel and not outside. But I know, as Gurudev said, what is more important is to know what is inside. So I think if you know that, probably there is no need to go outside. And therefore I think we are all here, and we look forward to sharing these 3 days with all of you. Thank you very much.
Sir, may I request you to kindly present mementos to our distinguished guests. I request Shri Suresh Prabhuji to present a memento to Lionchen Tenzing Tobgwe, Honorable Prime Minister of Bhutan. I now request Suresh Prabhuji to present a memento to Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev ji. Suresh Prabhuji will now give a memento to Parsekar ji. Suresh Prabhuji, I request you to give a memento to Shri Manohar Parikar ji now. Shaurya Doval will now give a memento to Shri Suresh Prabhu. Thank you, Suresh Prabhuji. We have a few changes to announce since this session has gone beyond the permitted time limit. We are now breaking up for a very short break, and we'll come back immediately after that and we'll present the Swarajya Awards. And after that, we'll have our next session, which should be in conversation with Shri Jagadguru, Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev ji, and this will happen immediately after the presentation of awards. All of you are kindly requested to be back here within next 5 minutes because we are going to start our next session immediately after this short break.